Hello. Um, this is actually a video I've been wanting to make for a while now, or rather just open-ended discussion about life in general, jobs, etc. Okay, just going to dive right in and get started here. In regards to YouTube, I've been a bit wishy-washy about whether or not I'm actually going to come back to making analysis videos or not. At the moment, I'm just going to say I'm going to leave that door open. But I've kind of been considering going in a much different direction from what videos I have up here. Hell, the videos I have uploaded here, it's more of an archival effort for anyone interested in seeing Shipping Corner or character analyses that I made from 2014 to late 2017, I think. It goes to show how much I've actually been keeping tabs on and paying attention to this. Back in November, I think it's been 2-3 months now, I took a crack at writing a shipping corner for Boxman, Venomous and Boxman. Man, that one is a bit of a dumpster fire. I'm gonna come back to write or take another crack at writing that one at least. What I have so far, there just isn't a lot to go on. The most that you could really get from that particular set of character interactions is that Venomous has a pretty big impact on Boxman's character development so far. E.g., Boxman has a kind of distorted relationship with his kids. And if you compare what little we've seen of Venomous with Fink, they're a father-daughter dynamic. Venomous is very supportive of his minion. He's very supportive, encouraging. They have a bond strong enough to where she regards him very affectionately. At the end of the latest episode where he made an appearance, yeah, there's a somebody who takes a bit too much into this. There's a lot to that scene where Boxman gives his kids those t-shirts from the party or something like that. It seems like that. Scenes like that show what kind of, or what it means for Boxman to have somebody that he relates to or has some kind of dynamic with. But the thing is, that's not enough to go on for having some kind of in-depth discussion about where that particular character relationship could go. The most I could really say you can go on as a shipper is Venomous's introduction episode, that ridiculous montage where Boxman goes commando, and if you interpret it as this is being seen from Venomous's perspective, all the gradients, the light effects, they're taking notes from a shoujo anime. They're taking notes from that kind of scene and setup, and it's hard not to interpret it through that kind of lens, especially if you're a nut bar shipper like I am. But there's only so much that you can really take or go from with a scene like that. There's interesting discussion so far into what kind of impact Venomous has on Boxman, but not the other way around. Like, there's not a whole lot viewers really know about Venomous so far. And it's no secret, I mention this quite often, I started writing fan fiction again. Or more specifically, OKKO fan fiction. And from that perspective, if you're writing for Venomous, there's only so much that you really have to work with. Even there's a lot of room for open interpretation. And even reading fan fiction in general is a bit of a grab bag, but I bet that any kind of fan fiction you come across with Venomous in it, you're going to see several different interpretations from people. There's some scenes that you could write and have them completely in character, like I don't know, like a very, very general short scene with him and Boxman. Like, you're not going into specifics. They're just talking about some new plan he has, and then Boxman comes away like, oh man, that guy is impressive. Very, very general interactions. But if you're writing a scene, like, trying to capture what kind of, okay, even with Venomous and Fink, you could probably dig in a bit there and have a lot to work with. But beyond, if you're going to go a bit beyond what we've seen on the screen, like, what the hell does Venomous do as a villain? You get the impression that he's a mad scientist, but does he have a specific rival? What does he do against Point? How did he and Fink's odd dynamic start? That kind of thing. All of that's open territory. You don't have an exact description or place to go from for that. It's all open to interpretation. As somebody that's just, if I come back to writing a shipping corner about Boxman and Venomous, I want to give it a bit longer. I want to give a few more episodes to get a better feel for who Venomous is as a character. Like, what makes him tick? What does Boxman bring to that particular set of interactions? There's some things that you can glean, but not really enough for my taste. Not really enough for my liking. I want to wait a bit longer and see what else pops up. Okay, went off on a bit of a tangent there. That's really the only character analysis or shipping thing I've really been thinking about taking a crack at writing. Otherwise, again, been pretty wishy-washy on this stuff. I'm half tempted to start up another channel devoted to speed drawings and stuff like that, where I ramble about other things entirely. Maybe cartoons. I do ramble sessions here, but I'm pretty sure there's only so much that you can really get out of my rambling about nonsense and nothing. I want to get back to making some more substantial content, but I'm not really interested on digging my heels and getting back into the cartoon analysis community. I'm back in 2015, I got my bachelor's in fine art. I've been drawing on and off since then, and I'm in an entirely different career field than I've been itching to actually get back to what I want to do with my life, or what I want to do career-wise. I think drawing videos would be an interesting place to start. There's no way in hell that I'd want to try and make YouTube some kind of platform or job again. More like, it'd be a good place to start to get me drawing every day, get back into the rhythm of drawing something, making more complex pieces, actually putting my work out there. I've done some of that, but I might as well just be brutally honest about that. I haven't pushed that as much as I really could have. That's the direction I want to go, making drawing videos and stuff. I'm actually in the process of trying to cobble together some kind of sketchbook. I don't know if I could really call it that. I found this ridiculous scrapbook or photo album over at Michael's. It's shaped like a pair of lips, and I immediately gravitated towards it, and I was like, I can do something interesting with this. And over the past month or so, I've been making tiny sketch dubs and stuff of ships and characters, and one page has some kind of really cheeky cornball phrase on it, and then I put a bunch of small sketch paper cutouts on the other one. I've been posting a lot of these on Tumblr and DeviantArt. I've taken a couple of commissions for them too. They've been cheapy, low-key commissions, since my big goal is just to fill the thing. I want to have somewhere to start. On Valentine's Day, I want to be able to trot this thing out and do a sketchbook walkthrough. That's my ultimate goal. That is my ultimate goal with that. those are plans I have on the back burner. Again, I'm going to leave the door open to come back to character analyses and stuff. I just don't think anyone would be interested in seeing speed drawings of me rambling about whatever on this channel. Just letting you guys know where the hell I'm going next or what plans I have in store for the next couple of months. Or looking at some of the comments here. Okay, what made you grow distant from the cartoon analysis game? Hmm. Oh, jeez. I haven't completely grown distant from it. It's been more lack of interest to. I'm honestly not sure. Part of it is there are so many people out there doing it now. I just feel like some things have already been said, or there's only so much that I can really contribute to certain circles or discussions. Otherwise, when it comes to watching a piece of media anymore, I still have discussions about characters or character dynamics and relationships. Actually, I'm half tempted to say part of this started last year. I don't really have a cut and dry answer. That's the horrible thing here. I guess okay, I'm going to try and ramble and pin down what exactly led to what point I'm at right now. It might actually help me get back into doing this kind of thing, because it's not like I've lost interest entirely. It's more I'm not interested in doing it as often as I used to. Well, around the time that I really dropped out of making extensive cartoon analyses, or rather, okay, I'm just going to call it what it is. I dropped off the face of the earth for a while. Back in late 2016, early 2017, I was going through a pretty rough patch in my life. 2017 was an incredibly odd year for me, job-wise. I'm just going to lay out exactly what weird stuff I was doing. Trying to think if this is entirely accurate or not. Back in late 2016, like fall 2016, I was in a pretty rough patch. I'd been unemployed for close to 5 or 6 months. That's probably when I was the most active on YouTube. I didn't really have much else going on in my life. And there was friction on all sides. There was friction on several different sides. I was at odds with my boyfriend, with my parents. It reached the point where the straw broke the camel's back. It was the straw that broke the camel's back. Something did it. Tensions were bad enough that I ended up breaking up with my boyfriend for a while. Like, a couple of months. I was arguing with my mom. I finally found a job. Finally started getting employment again. And as the months progressed, or from there, when I was finally employed and had a job and stuff, I was getting pretty decent hours. I felt like I was actually starting to get some kind of foothold, actually get control of my life again. I managed to resolve things with my mom and my boyfriend, get my shit together. And at that particular point in time, I was starting to think, what's a priority and what isn't? At that time, I decided that the cartoon analysis stuff was going on the back burner. That something had to get cut. I can't give an entire reason for why. I think on some level I was correlating it with how dramatic and just how deep of a rut I was in, what kind of hole I was in at that particular point in time. I was correlating it with that. And ever since then, I did come back because as I thought about it, I do enjoy doing this stuff. I like keeping tabs on fandom interactions. I've kept in touch with a lot of the people I've met through YouTube and cartoon analysis type stuff. I still talk to a lot of them now. Hell, my YouTube channel is how I met my buddies Eric and Bacon from Talking Rainbows, Talking Puppies, and my buddies on Headcanon Hive, Artistic Alpaca, SR, Brain Teaser, and also PC the Unicorn, and a couple of other people. Just ever since I made the decision to cut things like I did, I felt at odds with coming back to making full-blown analyses or reviews. I just didn't have any interest in it. I just kind of fell off for a while, and it's been kind of touch and go. It's been really touch and go since then. 2017, it was a self-discovery kind of thing, some of that kind of hippy-dippy stuff. I have had so many different jobs over the course of this year. I was a cashier. I almost became a bus driver. That fell through. That did not work out. I've been a part-time janitor. I've worked in a garden center. I've assembled grills, furniture, a bunch of odd jobs. Where I'm at right now, I finally slowed down and found something that has been working, kind of working out a lot better than anything else I've been doing. I'm a vendor. You know how you see people in stores and stuff that aren't the main employees and stuff, like they service specific displays. I'll name some of the guys, or the most common things you probably think of when you think vendor, or like the Coca-Cola guy, the Frito-Lay guy, the person putting out chips, pop, stocking the shelves. The truth about retail stores is you do have overnight stockers and people who work on that kind of stuff, but some stores, a lot of the shelves and all the merchandise and stuff, it's taken care of third-party vendors. It's taken care of by outside vendors, either through the company they're representing itself or a third party. The interesting thing about, I'm looking at some of the comments here. The people who serve samples at Costco or serve samples anywhere, there's actually some overlap between vendors and that kind of thing. Some overlap, but not a lot. It really depends on what company you're looking at. Basically what I do, it's, in general, I come in and stock shelves. I come in and stock shelves, take inventory on things, help set up certain displays, make sure certain displays are set to planograms and stuff. That kind of thing. I have done the thing where I hand out samples. It really depends. There's some places that have the people who give out samples on staff, as in they're part of the parent company. And then you have others that are brand ambassadors. They're third-party vendors that come in and set up a booth or table out front and try to drum up promotion for cell phones or remodels or something like that. Where I'm going with all this is that YouTube, cartoon analysis, and all that kind of stuff, it took a back seat while I was figuring out my weird employment situation, like making amends with people in real life, trying to get my life back, figuring out what all opportunity is out there. Hell, if it says anything, I live in Illinois. That's considered one of the worst states to live in regards to taxes and other variables. It wasn't easy, but over the course of 5 or 6 months, I managed to come across a world of opportunities and jobs that you wouldn't know exist unless you really started poking around and looking. When it comes to the idea, or I'm not going to say that this is a one-size-fits-all thing. It takes legwork and research to even get to the point where I'm at, and even that's not perfect. But the point I want to make is, if you take a second to look around, see what else is out there, what kinds of opportunities are out there, you're not sure what you're going to find. And sometimes it's worth taking a couple of leaps and risks, and you might end up doing something you never thought you would. I'm in a fairly decent position right now with jobs, hoping to get somewhere even better finance-wise, but I've figured out it's highly possible for someone to have a flexible schedule without having to be an entrepreneur or a freelancer. It's possible. It took a hell of a time to get where I'm at right now. Don't get me wrong. I search Indeed every other freaking day. I'm on there every other day looking and scouring through what opportunities are in my area. But you don't know what you're going to find unless you start looking around. Compared to what I was doing then, long ramble short, just got caught up in looking at or focusing on something else for a while. Honestly, when I was dumping a whole bunch of time, energy, effort, and stuff into YouTube, I considered it a part-time job. That was a huge part of what kept me coming back, kept me doing what I was doing. I liked what I was doing, and I don't think it's too out there to say that it was some kind of part-time job. Not a very well-paying one, but it was one. And since I divorced that particular idea from YouTube or making content, like, took it down to the level of this is just a hobby, it got put on the back burner. That's really the biggest reason why I started drifting away from it, or one of them. I don't think it's fair to pin to say that that's the entire reason, though. Another one is that there's some pieces of media or content that I watch that I kind of wanted to reach the point where I wasn't watching it and looking at every single character and thinking about some big elaborate thing that I was going to write, going in depth about the story or what was going to come next with this particular character or whatever else. There's some things that I just want to watch for the sake of watching it. Not necessarily turning off my brain, but when somebody goes to or becomes some kind of analyst, for lack of a better description, where they've gotten into the habit of watching through cartoons or looking at media or something, and every other week they're posting some kind of piece about it, kind of get into the habit of wondering, where's this particular character's arc going to go? What direction did the writer take with this? That's not necessarily a bad thing. But there's some things where, I mean, I guess I just got to the point where I was thinking, does everything merit this kind of discussion or analysis or approach? When it comes to analysis videos in general, there's some that I really be on the fence about. Like, is this discussion necessary? I don't know. I'm still trying to pin down exactly. I have a few reservations about analyzing stuff anymore, or the merit and value of analyzing some aspects and elements of cartoons versus others. God, this is so rambly. It's kind of it's kind of weird to think that what little content I produce, whether it be helping out with podcasts or whatever else, has just been more rambles like this. Just rambling. Not quite sure where the core point of what I'm trying to say is. I don't even know if I have a point here other than had mixed feelings about overanalyzing cartoons. God, maybe this is what I need to get to the point of cobbling something together again. Haven't completely died down or stopped with this particular effort. I mean, back in November, as newer Star Versus episodes were premiering, I wrote a couple things there, like short articles about Tom, Star, stuff with that series as it was ongoing. I guess it just takes certain things. I guess it's just certain subjects I'm more interested in discussing versus others. Actually, with the Star Versus stuff, I think I just kind of I fell off of that for now since, man, we're gonna take it. It's kind of hard to discuss some shipping stuff when geez, I've had some pretty in-depth discussions about how much somebody doesn't really like the dating drama and stuff, and yeah. If you actively talk to somebody else about your favorite cartoon or media, there's sometimes where it can color some of your own opinions or just I think I'm kind of burned out on that series right now. Experiencing a little bit of burnout. Probably gonna be why it's gonna be a while before I take another crack at it. Ugh. Okay, I'm at the point where I'm about to start rambling about how much I hate the weather. The most boring possible topic I could. Actually, I think I just felt like rambling in general. I was going to say, I had nugget something interesting, but nah, I don't think that's the case this time. Speaking of burnout on certain things, actually, I don't know if I really want to dredge that up. Star Versus, I'm not completely put off by it. When new episodes start premiering, definitely gonna tune in and watch because they brought up a plot point intriguing enough that I want to see where they take it. I really enjoy the cartoon in general. There's only been one particular cartoon that okay. I think it is very possible for a fan or individual to ruin a franchise for somebody else. I think it's highly possible to do that. There's some things that I would say divorce the fandom from the piece of media you're enjoying. I'm just going to come. First example that comes to mind, Steven Universe. Not too keen on discussing that outside of maybe a few discussions with friends, podcast stuff, but engaging with the bigger fandom at large, like writing character analysis stuff for that. No, I am not coming back to that because, yeah. There's certain discourses and people in that fandom that are just, ugh. Every fandom has them. It's just, in some cases, if you're going to do the cartoon analyst thing, I'd say take a general approach so you can pick and choose what topics you talk about so you're not so intertwined or ingrained with something to the point that, oh, especially if you're going to make this some kind of job. If you're a one-note analyst, if you're tied in with this cartoon, ugh, that brings. But I digress. I still enjoy Steven Universe, just not interacting with the bigger fandom. Like, if it's a one-off conversation with somebody, one of my buddies, my boyfriend, the podcast that I have that nobody watches, yeah, I'll bring it up and discuss it there. But fandom at large, having a discourse about what you think about Peridot as a character or whatever else, no thank you. I have such mixed feelings about the idea that fandom can ruin or wholly ruin something for somebody. My general consensus is that if you enjoy the piece of media enough, divorce it from the fandom or the fans or fan discussion or discourse. Because in some respects, fandoms really are their own bubble. They're their own thing. They're loosely related to the piece of media that you're enjoying, but it's possible to continue enjoying said piece of media without directly relating or correlating it with the fandom. But I can't wholeheartedly endorse that particular idea because there's some cases where I'm going to be kind of vague when describing this. I'm sorry about this, but there's one particular cartoon that I can't get myself to look at fan content for it. Anything. I can't look at anything for this cartoon, period, because I have it so strongly correlated or connected with one person. One person that I had a really, really nasty falling out with. It is highly possible to correlate a piece of media or thing with somebody or a nasty personal experience to the point that that thing is ruined or tarnished in some way. That's the one respect that I think, yeah. But I wouldn't necessarily say that that's a case of fandom ruining something. It's more of personal effects ruining something. Okay, that's very, very different ballpark or concept from the idea of a fandom ruining something. I'm not going to take a crack at describing or picking apart the specifics of fandoms at large. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I've watched a couple of his videos. Definitely not going to take a crack at that. Every fandom has their ups and downs, and I will say this much if you were a sociology major or psychology major or something like that, I would be tempted to say, looking at the specifics of the fandom and how people interact with each other there, it can make for a damn interesting paper. The only reason why I say that, though, is while fandoms generally have their turds and their nice people, and there's general overviews you can give for them, there are specific hallmarks or highlights or pitfalls and whatever else that are specific to each fandom. There are specific hallmarks and calling cards for each one. And you really have to spend a week going through tags, looking at general posts or whatever else to see what all these different hallmarks, highlights, and such are. I've gotten to the point a couple of times where if you ask me about the total drama fandom around 2010, 2012, I could probably give you a rundown on what that experience was like. But anymore, I'm just barely scratching the surface, so half the drama or the stuff going on in it, I couldn't tell you. Just kind of interesting thinking about what does it take? What does it take to fully understand the ins and outs of a fandom, or to give an outsider an overall view of who's the king cat daddy of the fandom? In other words, who are the most popular names? Who's a controversial person? Who's a person that, quote unquote, ruined the experience for everybody else when this thing blew up and became intensely popular, when it was so small before? Just how long does it take to get so entrenched in something or in a community surrounding something to where you can point these things out and give detailed analyses or even your own take and opinions on these things? Looking at it in that way is interesting, I guess. Have you been to a Comic-Con? No. Thinking about going to a convention sometime next month, though. Just need to figure out my work situation before doing that. Like, get everything queued up, scheduled, figured out. Budget stuff, too. May even have to consider the weather. Today's bad enough that did not go into work because tried driving out on the streets and they're covered with ice, really slippery out there, like slip and slide all over the road. Yeah, not worth it. Not worth it. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and end this right here. But before I end this, I would like to bring up one plan plans that I had for a future video. This is going to be on a separate secondary channel that I'm thinking about starting. Like sketchbook walkthroughs, drawings. That one's going to be rambly art stuff. I'm currently working on filling up a sketchbook by now, hoping to get that done before February 14th and get a video uploaded then where I'm going through my bad art and rambling about things. All right. Bye, everybody.